Hari Om. Let's start with a prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the Panchadashi 6th chapter and we completed sloka 31 and says, let's read, chant that. Svanubhutira vidyayam Svanubhutira vidyayam Avrute cha pradarsita Avrute cha pradarsita Atah kotastha chaitanyam Atah kotastha chaitanyam Avirodhiti tarkatam Avirodhiti tarkatam. Together. Svanubhutira vidyayam Avrute cha pradarsita Ataha kotastha chaitanyam Avirodhiti tarkatam. So here it says, how can there be ignorance in the all-pervading consciousness which is light of consciousness, whereas the ignorance is like a darkness, and you cannot have darkness and light at the same time. So therefore there cannot be ignorance on the Kutastham. Kutastham cannot be adhara or a support for the ignorance. That was because it's logically untenable. So they are using logic to disprove the statement that Kutastha, that means the Chaitanyam or the all-pervading consciousness is the support for ignorance also. So where is the ignorance? Of course it has to be in Brahman. Why? Because it cannot be outside the Brahman, because there is no outside the Brahman. Brahman being infinite, there cannot be anything outside Brahman. So everything has to be on Brahman only. So if the ignorance, that means darkness is on top of light, how can that be possible? That's the logical question that was being raised and by the opponents of the Advaita philosophy, starting with Bhagavan Ramanuja and Madhvacharya and several other people who are essentially based on the same philosophical statements. So here says, your own experience, you say, I don't know, I am Brahman. Oh, that's why I am not Brahman, I am only Jiva. That's what the argument, their argument is. But what is Jiva? Are you conscious entity or not? Yes, of course I am conscious entity. But consciousness is infinite. But say, no, consciousness may be infinite, but a Jiva conscious entity is a part of the total. That's how they get around the problem. But how can there be parts in the infinite? That question is not answered, and therefore they accept that there is a total universe, Brahman, in which there are all Jivas are there, as is what you see in the Vishwarupa or Virat Purusha that you see in the 11th chapter of Gita. So they go by that, therefore says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke. So my Amsha is Jivam. I say, Natvevaham Jatanasam Natvam Nemi Janadipaha. So statement of Krishna is, there was never a time, I was not there, never a time, you were not there, never a time, all the kings were there, why are you crying, and so on. So implication of this is, each Jiva is eternal and they are present in Brahman. So that's why there is a Paramatma and Jivatma. There is a difference between Jivatma, Paramatma Bhinnatvam, Jiva Jagat Bhinnatvam, Jiva Jagat Bhinnatvam, and Jagat Ishvara Bhinnatvam. There are in fact 5 different types of differences that are there in the projected in the totality as a part of their doctrine. Because any Bhinnatvam is not valid in the Paramarthika state, that's Advaitic position. From the Paramartha, it's Brahman alone, Satchidanandam, because Sat is infinite, Chit is infinite, and you cannot have two infinities, Satta eva Chit, Chittayaham. I am that Satchidananda, and that's how the Advaitic tradition is. So from the point of Advaita also, it says Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vijñeyaha. So that is non-dual, and therefore there cannot be any aspect of duality in the infinite. So from the Svanubhutam, from the experience that I know I am not Brahman, so because of your experiential statement, you cannot reject your experience by the logic, unless the logic has to account for the experience also. So that's why we gave an example of the sunrise and sunset. Even though experientially there is no sunrise, there is sunrise and sunset, but scientifically there is really no sunrise and sunset. Why? Because it is only rotation of the earth that gives you the picture of as though sun is rising and sun is setting. So experiential sunrise and sunset is negated by the science or the theory, or that which says earth rotates around its axis and giving rise to sunrise and sunset. But why should I believe that which I don't see? I don't see any earth's rotation. I only see the sunrise and sunset. So Svanubhavam, personal experience is sunrise and sunset, and you are saying something which is against the personal experience. That only will be accepted. The theory can only be accepted if you prove that the same theory can explain other things which cannot be accounted by personal experience. Not only sunrise, sunset, the moonrise and moonset, all other planets, everything is rotating, and all that has to be proved by different ways. The only there is a consistent proof, then only we accept the theory as a fact, and therefore it also should explain why I see sunrise and sunset when there is no sunrise and sunset. So the rotation of the earth has to be proved, and therefore I can see sunrise and sunset even though there is no real sunrise and sunset. That also has to be accounted. So experience may not be there, but also logically why that experience has to be accounted. So in the same way, if I say I am not, I don't know why you have to experience, why are you saying that I am ignorant or that I am Brahman, or at least I am Satchidananda Swarupam? Because if you are Satchidananda Swarupam, you know that experientially you are looking for Ananda. You are going after, I want this happiness, I want this for me to happiness, even though happiness is coming from you. Logically, happiness is coming from you. Then why are you going after? So that shows that we go after things without proper understanding also. So here Svanubhutihi Abhidyayam. So ignorance is experienced by your own experience says that I do not know. Avrutecha Pradarsita. So it is covering your knowledge, is demonstrated by your own experience. So any ignorance we know, because I am conscious of the absence of the knowledge. So even though I am light of consciousness, I am illumining the ignorance because I know what? That I don't know. So this is also part of the Svanubhuti. Ataha, therefore, Kutastha Chaitanyam Avirodhiti Tarkadam. Therefore, one has to argue that Kutastha Chaitanyam, that witnessing consciousness, is not opposite to Mula Vidya. In fact, in its presence only, Mula Vidya can be known, that I do not know that I am Brahman, because I am conscious of the knowledge of the absence of that I am Brahman. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, let's do 32. Tatchet virodhi keneyam, tatchet virodhi keneyam, avrutiryanubhuyatam, avrutiryanubhuyatam, vivekastu virodhyasyaha, vivekastu virodhyasyaha, vivekastu virodhyasyaha, tattvajnanini drusyatam, tattvajnanini drusyatam. Together. Tatchet virodhi keneyam avrutiryanubhuyatam, vivekastu virodhyasyaha, tattva jnanini drusyatam. Tat chet virodhi kena ayam avrittihi anubhuyatam. So if tat, therefore, kutastha chaitanyam virodhi chet, if it is opposite to the avidya, so because it is, if it is opposite to avidya, means the light is opposite to the darkness, if that's what your argument is, and therefore you are saying that the Kutastha Chaitanyam, which is the nature of the consciousness, which is the nature of the light of consciousness, is opposite to the avidya, which is of the nature of darkness. If that's what you are saying, if that is to be contrary, so iyam avrittihi, that it is this coverage, ekena anubhuyatam, who experiences it. That means this absence of the, if you ask, say, if this is covered by that, by this one, who experiences if ignorance doesn't cover it, who experiences the ignorance of it? The question is, I don't know. If I don't know means, who knows that I don't know? Of course I know. Who is that I? A conscious entity knows the presence of ignorance, which is of the nature of darkness. So consciousness that I am cannot be the virodhi. So if it is avirodhi, if it is, therefore it's not opposite to the consciousness is not opposite to the ignorance. So if that is the case, that avrutiri anya bhuyatam. So therefore that it is covered. How do you know? How do you know that it is covered? If that is asked, because vivekastu virodasyaha. So what is the opposite to the ignorance? It is not the consciousness. It says what is opposite to the ignorance is, it is the viveka. The knowledge is opposite to the consciousness, not the pure consciousness. So consciousness is not opposite to ignorance, but the knowledge is opposite to ignorance. Knowledge of what? It is a vritti jnanam is opposite to the ignorance. So therefore, I had to gain the knowledge. So for that, you have to inquire. Tad vijñāsasva. You have to inquire. Atato brahma jignasa. So you have to inquire about what is Brahman. Because something is covering Brahman, so I have to remove by inquiry. So viveka is only opposite to the ignorance. So through viveka, therefore viveka is required for the analysis. That's why the Shankaracharya says of the essential qualities that are required for self-realization, first one is viveka, then vairagya, samadhi shakka sampatti, and mumukshutvam. These are the fourfold qualifications that are needed. Viveka is what? Viveka is nitya anitya vastu viveka. What is eternal and what is ephemeral? What is temporary and what is that which is permanent? What is changing and what is changeless in the changing things? And that has to be vivekastu virodasya. That the opposite of the avidya is not consciousness, but opposite of avidya is the viveka. Knowledge alone can remove the ignorance, and both the knowledge and the ignorance are illumined by the consciousness. So in the light of consciousness only I know what? That I don't know. So do you know chemistry? Yes, I know. I don't know chemistry. So how do you know that you don't know? That I know. That means I am conscious of. That means consciousness is illumining that I don't know. I don't know this. And even I know this, but this knowledge of this eliminates the ignorance of this. Same way, knowledge of about the Mula Avidya is removed. What's the Mula Avidya? Aham Brahmasmi. That's what is the Mula Avidya is. So here, Vivekastu Virodasyaha. What is opposite to the ignorance is only knowledge. And Tattva Jnaneni Dasyatam. So that Tattvataha, through Jnanini, by proper analysis, through the Viveka, Dusyatam, one can see, the Jnani will see the truth. What does he see? See means understand. Do you see what I am talking about? That's seeing. That means he understands through Viveka what is the absolute reality. Because through Viveka, ignorance has been removed. The simple example that Shankaracharya gives in Atmabodha is, it is said that the clouds are covering the sun. So clouds are covering the sun. How do you know? Because I can see what? The clouds, and I don't see the sun. So clouds are covering the sun. I cannot see the sun. Who is saying? The one who is underneath the clouds. He cannot see the sun because clouds are, if you're looking up, clouds are covering the sun. And so sun is so big and so vast compared to even the earth and the clouds and all that. How can clouds cover the sun? Because the distance clouds can cover the sun. But how do you know clouds are covering the sun? Because I can see the clouds. In what light? In the sunlight only. Then how about in the night I can see clouds? There's no sunlight there. I can see anything in the night also because of sunlight only. I can see the moon. How? Because of sunlight. So there's no sunlight. There's no sun there, but sunlight is there falling on the moon and illumining that, and that's what I'm seeing. So when I see anything on the Purnima day, any objects on the earth, on what light? Oh, on the moonlight. How did you get the moon? Moon doesn't have any light. It is the sunlight via the moon and falling on the object and coming back. It's roundabout. Only what I'm seeing is only sunlight only, but reflected, a double reflection by the moon first and then falling on the object and reflected and coming back to the retina, and that's what essentially we call it. They say, I am seeing objects in a full moon night. There is no sunlight here. That's only a wrong notion. Okay, if everything is illumined this one, so let's say, if you ask me, do you know Gaga Bobo? So what do I answer? Do you know Gaga Bobo? So first thing is, what is Gaga Bobo? That's what. First, I need to know what you are referring to. So do you know chemistry? What is chemistry? I never heard of chemistry. How do you know whether I know chemistry or not? Unless you tell me what it is. So same way, I cannot tell whether I know Gaga Bobo or not unless you tell me what is Gaga Bobo. Never heard of that. Oh, it shows you some pen. Oh, this is Gaga Bobo. Oh, that's a pen. I know pen. Oh, you call it pen. I call this Gaga Bobo. That's your problem. So if I know Gaga Bobo or not depends upon what is Gaga Bobo first. So if you show something else which I have never seen, say that is Gaga Bobo. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's called Gaga Bobo. Now I know. So first to know that whether I know it or not, I should know what it is. So that knowledge also has to illuminate about the ignorance to some extent for me to know I know or I don't know. I know this, I don't know this. Both I know. I know what viditam va, aviditam va. Those are viditam. Both are known because I know what I know what I don't know. And if you tell me something beyond and say either I should put in the known category or unknown category if I know what you are talking about. So these are all part of the drama. So consciousness illumines everything. And because it's all pervading, eternally present, so both avidya, vidya, both are illumined by the consciousness. But in the case of the knowledge viveka, what it directs the mind is that which is beyond the mind, showing it is because of that you can. So it's called Lakshyartha. So Vedanta points in the direction for one to look in. That means through process of understanding, I have to shift my mind in the attention to that, and it is, since it's a self-revealing, it reveals itself. So what I have to remove to see the sun? If the air blows out, it blows the wind, the clouds away, then what else I have to do to see the sun? You don't have to do. Sun will be visible automatically. Because it's a self-shining entity. I don't need any other means to see. another light. Light is self-shining. Same way, consciousness that I am is self-revealing once I remove the obstacles. And this obstacle is by Mula Avidya. It has to be removed by Vritti Jnanam, by constant study of the scriptures. And then when it is removed, then I have to look in the direction pointed out by that, and it happens. That's called Aparokshanubhuti, because it's immediate, directly available. And that's what essentially is implication of this whole Vedanta is. Now we do 30. Avidya vritti kutaste, avidya vritti kutaste, dehadvaya yutachitihi, dehadvaya yutachitihi, suktau rupyavadadhyasta, suktau rupyavadadhyasta, vikshepadhyasa evahi, vikshepadhyasa evahi. Together. Avidya vrutakotaste dehadvaya yutachitihi suktau rupyavadadhyasta vikshepadhyasa evahi. So avidya avrutakotaste. So in the kutastha, that is associated with the ignorance, unveiling. So the ignorance as though covering the kutastham, and avrutam. So that is called, I do not know that I am Brahman. So that knowledge is, the ignorance is covering the nature of my true nature. So ignorance is veiling that. Kutastha associated with the ignorance. Dehadvaya yutachitihi. So the dehadvaya yutachitihi. So both the gross body and the subtle body, and together with the Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness, the whole package is Suktau, is illumined, and therefore it is known. And it says, example is Suktau Rupyavatu. It is like on the shell, the silveriness. The silveriness, the Rupyam says the silveriness that you see on the shell is as though it is there on the shell, and you think it is silver instead of the shell. So the shell is as though covered by the silver, which by through its quality, and I say, hey, that is a silver, because I am not seeing the sukti, the shell completely. Suktau, say in the shell, rupyavatu, like the silver, adhyasta. So the silver is hidden as though the shell is a substratum or the adhara or the adhishtanam for the silver that you are seeing. Where is silver? That's right there. Right there where? That's where the shell is. So wherever the shell is, silver is. So shell is supporting the silver that I am seeing. Because silver is somewhere else and shell is not there. It's not that. It is where the shell is, silver is. That's my knowledge. Because what I see is only silver. You call it shell, but that's a silver. So who supports the silver? It is the shell only supporting the silver. Is it real silver? For you it is real, but actually it is not. What is there is only shell, and there is no silver in that shell. So this is how there is no ignorance also, there is no Jiva also from the point of Kutastha Chaitanyam, but from the point of us, it is the support for both the shell, both the buddhi and the mind and the subtle body and the gross body, and also the reflected consciousness which makes the subtle body as though enlivened, as though behave like a conscious entity. All that is part of the superimposition, because the Kutastha Chaitanyam is the one. So it is not only the the reflection that is occurring because of subtle body, even the very existence of the subtle body is supported by the Kotastha. Because Kotastha Chaitanya is Ishvara, and Ishvara himself is projected the whole universe, and that's why Vedanta explains later in the Chandogya and all that. This is, it itself became Tadaichada Bhausyam Pada Eti. He himself became many. So that means from him only it came. And who is that? It is Sachidananda Swarupam. So the same Kutastha Chaitanya first forms gross body. So Dehadvayam, the gross and the subtle, both the mind and intellect and the matter, as well as the reflection of that, of the consciousness, for both in terms of existence and the consciousness, are expressed through what has been created as a subtle and gross body. It's a little bit complicated concept. What is there? Only pure consciousness, and there is no Jiva Jagat there. But it as though from the Vyavaharika point, Ishvara creates the whole universe, and from him only, that means both the body, gross bodies, and the subtle material. And so the first is 5 subtle material are coming, that Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, that is in the subtle form, and then by Panchikarana they form a gross materials, and both gross material and subtle material together consists of all the 14 lokas. That's how the lokas are created, and subtle body enters into the gross body. That's called Anupravesha, where the jivas and jagats are in different fields, because depending upon the particular loka, the bodies are formed suitable for the loka, and jivas have to enter to exhaust the vasanas in that, and that's how the life is. So this is all accounted by the Vedanta in a proper order. Here, Sukyo Rupyavatu Adhyastha Vikshepa Adhyasa Evahi. So here the covering and the Vikshepa projection is also discussed here. Covering is, I don't know that I am the, or I don't see the Kotastha Chaitanyam. That is covering, and that is Mula. I don't see the sun. That is covering, and on what light? Because sunlight only. Sunlight is illumining the clouds that are covering the sun. That same way, the Kotastha Chaitanyam is illumining the ignorance that is covering the Kotastha Chaitanyam. So that's how you have to analyze. Because Kotastha Chaitanyam is infinite. There is only local entity, and clouds are only local. Only guy underneath the cloud cannot see the sun. Even the outside guy who is away from these clouds can see the sun. So all that is exactly identical in that sense. Sattau Rupyavatu. So just as the shell is supporting the silver, Adhyastha. This is the same way. Adhyastha means superimposition. That's called the Adhyasa Bhashya. That is where the superimposition is there, and superimposition, since it's not really real, it's only conceptual, therefore only Viveka can remove that. That's why it's called Mithya. Mithya means it appears to be there, but it's not really there, because from the point of consciousness there is no ignorance also. Only from the point of Jiva there is an ignorance. From the point of consciousness, there is no ignorance also. It is Ekameva Advitiyam, one without a second. So only at the transactional level, at the Jiva level, all these theories are. From the Paramarthika level, Navaggachati na manaha, yadgatva na nivartante, aprapya manasa saha. No description is possible. Only Advaita is only from the point of Vyavahara, pointing in the direction. It is one without a second, no duality whatsoever. Why Advaita? Because you are seeing Dvaita, therefore from your reference there is no duality there. That's what is being pointed out. Because it's not a monoism, it's not all alone by that, because it's reference to what you are seeing, but what you are seeing is not really there. So Dvaita you are seeing, but the truth is that it is not Dvaita. It is pure existent consciousness expressing itself at the transaction level, both the subtle and gross bodies, the world and the jivas, and all that in 14 lokas, and it becomes a only vibhuti that has to be understood. Suktau rupyavadadhyasta vikshepadhyasayavahi. So this sukti example of the shell silver, which is common discussed in the Vedanta, is going to be discussed more. Sloka 34. Idam sasya satyatvam suktigam rupya ichyate. Idamam sasya satyatvam suktigam rupya ichyate. Swayam tvam vastuta chaivam vikshepe vichyate nyagam. Vastuta chaivam vikshepe vichyate nyagam. Vastuta chaivam swayam tvam vastuta chaivam vikshepe vichyate nyagam. Together. Idamam sasya satyatvam suktigam rupya ichyate. Swayam tvam vastuta chaivam vikshepe vichyate nyagam. This is a little bit complicated sloka because idam amsham. So idam amsham, the thisness amsham and of the satyatvam, of the truth of pure Satchidananda Swarupam. Suktigam rupya ichyate. So idam, this is, that part is represented in the sukti rupyam. In the sukti rupya ichyate. In the suktigam rupya ichyate. There is a shell, say this is silver. To this is shell. So this is part is coming from the idamsa. This is idamamsham. That's called idamamsham. This is part, and that is this isness or thisness is what is coming from the pure existent consciousness. We'll go into more detail of this sloka because this has to be unraveled to understand the Advaitic position. With that, we'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.